Part 3 of the K-pop Demon Hunters Derpy the Cat dog costume starts with this dry fit. I last left you when I was basting the hood together, and he's got a really poofy head. I think it would fit. I think it's fine. Also, when I was putting on the hood, he took it off anyway, so I don't know that he's actually going to wear the hood. The length is good. The trimming I did over here is so much better than the floppiness that I was experiencing earlier, so I will take this as a win and then move on to the next step. And here is how I'm looking for my next step. I took the body piece out. I undid the basting so I can lay it out flat. And I got all of these from a shop in LA on Etsy, Style Source Shop. This is 1 yard of the royal blue Lara, solid smooth minky fabric, a 1/4 yard of the icy blue, and a 1/4 yard of the black. And that is ultimately how you end up with the K-pop Demon Hunters cat costume. So all these were these 3. I had some left over from Paco's, but I didn't think it would be enough for Charlie for the black and the light blue or the icy blue. So I ordered another 1/4 yard of each of those, which is what you see here. And then for the dark blue fabric, and for Charlie, he is 65 pounds. And here's what I was trying to say earlier about the pile. The pile runs down, so parallel to the selvage edge. So I want the costume to, like, I want the fur to lie down this way, so I need to make sure, so the width is fine. The width is pretty big. I think it's like 58 inches. And then the length, I got 1 yard, so how much room do I have to spare? I don't have too much to spare. It'll be enough for the hood. Oh, actually, I can probably make the hood out of this leftover on the width. I don't think I could have gotten away with anything less than a full yard. All right, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take these pins and pin the test fabric down to the final fabric so I can cut it out. I will also do the same for the hood. I'm going to undo these basting stitches, and I'm going to cut out 1 of these and 2 of these. So I have 1 for the right and the left, and I will show you what that looks like. Fit check. Just finished sewing all of the pieces together. This is how he looks. I am obsessed with checking to make sure that it fits. Oh, he wants pets. To make sure that it fits every step of the way, because remember what happened with my knitting when I was trying to knit my socks? You remember that? And it didn't fit, and I was 2/3 of the way through, and I was pissed. Now I am obsessive about checking every half step of the way. Now that I know that this fits, I am going to go ahead and work on the embellishments. It's our next day, and this is the progress I've made. I'm making slow, but oh, Charlie, no, I don't want him to bite it. Charlie. So I making progress slowly but surely. So I've cut out what I'm calling the eyeshadow and the eyes. Let me show you how I did that. I need 2 hands though. Charlie, excuse me. Okay. Oh, also, do you guys watch Arrested Development? You know that Job quote where he's like, I've made a terrible mistake. I think I did. I had that moment last night when I realized, for some reason, when I was measuring for the hood, I only measured from here to here, and I didn't include this portion. I don't know why. So I totally screwed myself out of, what is that, 1.5 inches? It still fits him, so I'm not going to worry about it. Again, it's for a dog, so I am not going to worry about it too much. So I want to walk you through how I made these eyes and the eyeshadow that's going to formulate this. So my first goal was to get scale correct. So I wanted to size the eye correct for the size of the hood, which I realized, again, now it's going to look too big, but it's okay. So I looked for something that was roughly the size of this, which happened to be this roll of tulle. And so I used this, and I put it on a piece of paper, that tracing paper. That's this right here. So I put it on here, and I traced it on a piece of paper. That was a lot bigger before I cut it out. And it's kind of this line right here. Okay, this circle right here. This one right here is the bottom of this. This is my Microsoft Surface. And so what I did was I took a picture of Derpy using the circle, the initial circle captured from this, to get the proportions right, the size. So I used a circle and I matched it up with roughly what I felt like was his eyeball, like this part. And I put it up to here, and I like zoomed in and out to get his eyeball to match up with this circle. The main pieces that I had to capture in order to do these cutouts where you can see here, these 3 items. So the outline of it, the black part, is of course the bigger part outside here. I traced the red part, which was like this part of his eye. So I traced that on my computer. And then I traced the yellow part, and then I traced his pupil. So those are those pieces. And then I took more tracing paper, and I needed to make the template to be able to cut out each of the items from the felt, right? So here is what I traced and cut out from this red portion. So this darker outline here is this that I put on this red portion, and I cut it out, and then I did a mirror image of that and I cut it out in order to get the two eyes. I did the same thing for the yellow. See that? I traced it, and then I cut it out, and then I cut two of them in order to make the yellow part of the eye. So I did that, cut it out, and I did that, cut it out. And then the black one, I did the same thing, took the paper, another paper, and then I traced it, and then I cut it out, put it on the black felt, cut out two of them, and then unceremoniously accidentally threw in the trash can. So I don't have the example of that one, but that's what I did in order to get this. And then I sewed them all up. And then I also did that same thing for this blue part. Oh yeah, here. While I was tracing this, I also traced the blue part, which is, oh, sorry, I did it here, yeah. So that's this. See, every time you touch it, it's gonna move. So you just have to have a light hand. So that's this. And then I cut it out of the blue fabric, which is right here. Again, don't forget to make sure that your pile is oriented in the right direction, because I almost totally cut it out upside down. So that's how I did that part. And then my next step is to actually sew these on. And then I think after that, I'm gonna do the stripes, and then I'm gonna end with the stripes on the head. With this pencil, I drew on roughly the shape of the stripes. The placement doesn't need to be exact because I'm gonna play with the placement on the real thing. I at least wanted to get the stripes on the pattern so I can get the length and the height generally correct. So I drew the outline of the black, and I drew the outline of that light blue. So I traced it, cut it out, and then I cut out the black outlines. Puppy shot! Alright, here's where I am with the pattern. I know there's a glare there, but hopefully you can see. That part is the head, those holes are the arms, and then this is the back splayed out. You can see it kind of coming together. Generally speaking, it seems to be a process of making a pattern, cutting it out with the paper, and then cutting it out with the fabric. So I have it roughly lined up. This isn't really that final, but this is a good opportunity. You can change things if you want to. I think I'm fine with it. And the next step here is I need to cut that out from the paper pattern, the light blue portion, cut that out with the blue fabric. And post cutting from the blue fabric, this is where we're at. I have, let's see, remember I ordered a quarter yard of the blue fabric. I have a good amount left over. I have almost no left over from the black fabric. I might have been able to squeeze one more stripe out of this fabric. I'm gonna have to use it for some of the thinner stripes on the cat's head, but pretty much I used almost all of the black fabric and maybe half or less than half of the blue fabric. There is minky everywhere, but I wanted to stop right now and show you what it looks like after I cut out the pieces, the pattern pieces. So this is the final result of that. You can see I have the kind of the leftovers here. The bad part about doing this is that I obviously can't reuse this, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be making another one of these, so I don't mind kind of trashing those. I ended up calling an audible a little bit. I realized that the black was a little bit too thick in the pattern, so I went outside the line on purpose for the blue, the icy blue, to make the black part thinner. Fast forward, okay, I'm almost done. I have this one left. It has taken me literal hours to get to this part right now. If I could do this over, I would do it a different way. I would have done, so if I'm not doing this again, but if you do this and you're doing this similarly, don't do what I did and cut out the black and then the blue and then sew the blue on top of the black. It is, this fabric is so slippery. Things aren't staying when I'm trying to sew it. I don't know if it would be better if I sewed it on a machine. I don't know. But if I could do it again, or if I could turn back time, I would do it a different way, because what I'm gonna have to do is probably cut out a lot of the black anyway, and it just seems like double the work. My recommendation to you is to take the pattern that I threw it away. Take out the patterns for the light blue, cut out the blue only, put it on the panel of black fabric, sew it on all of them, and then cut them out. Though I feel like that would have been way less frustrating because I wouldn't have had to maneuver these pieces so much, because I had to redo so much because I would end up with this like too low and then not having enough black outline, or you know, it was too much work. So I have one left to do, but I have to go run an errand right now. I wanted to at least catch you up before it got dark. I'm a little bit stressed because I really want to finish this before tomorrow because there's an event with dog costumes. So I really want to be able to finish this before then. There is Mickey fabric everywhere. These just like, I mean, on my lap. And I hate the black ones because they look like bugs. If I don't know that's there, I'm gonna like think it's a bug, or sometimes they float off the table and I freak out because I think it's a bug. Back stripes are on, just finished it. Sewing them on, this part took me a lot longer than I thought it would. And also apologies for the awful lighting. It's 10:30 right now and I'm in the home stretch, but I have a lot more work to do. So for the ears, so I'm just trying to get a gauge of scale. I can see that the ear is roughly as wide as it is tall. I think I'm doing girl measuring. Yeah, it looks about right. And then, but how wide is it? And it's about the width between the end of this part of his eye and this part of his eye. So when I'm looking here, and I know this isn't perfect, his ears are pretty far back in his head. So if you look at him straight on, me saying that the ears are this wide compared to, like, I understand that this is a lot closer, so his ears are farther and his ears are going to be bigger in real life. So I'll just self-adjust really quickly. But again, it's for a dog. I think that this has captured the essence of Derpy the tiger. I'm so glad I'm not a perfectionist because there are a lot of inaccuracies in here, just like small and big. Okay, so let's look at how long this part is because this will give me that main measurement. So I'm going to, like I said, bump this measurement up a little bit. I'm just going to do 2.5. What I plan to do, because you can see also the ear is not completely a triangle, it's kind of a triangle, and then the outsides of the ear kind of go straight down, and I feel like that makes it look more like an ear rather than if I just made a straight triangle. So I'm going to make a triangle and then have the ends kind of come straight down. So I want to do that here. If this was not 11 o'clock at night or close to 11 o'clock at night going into midnight, soon I would do this on a piece of paper first and then trace it, but I don't have time right now, and I think you'll get it. All right, I'm going to mark. That's a straight line, right? Yeah, let's just call it a straight line. This is what I want to do. So from there to there, and then, so I'm gonna fold this in half to find the middle, and then measure up. Okay, so I folded that in half, that marker lined up with that marker. So 1, 2.5. Okay, and then like I said, I want this part to be straight a little bit. And then this part will like curve down to make the ear. I don't know, that maybe drawing on a paper would be easier. You know, sometimes you try to take a shortcut and it ends up taking longer. I do that all the time. Don't let me forget a seam allowance. Okay, do I look like a cat ear yet? Or I mean half a cat ear. All right, so I'm going to give myself a 1/4 inch seam allowance, like that. I think I'm just gonna roughly cut it. Okay, so that's what it looks like when I cut it out. And that was the line I drew, and then this is the seam allowance that is very inconsistent. And then I unfolded it and it looks like this. Okay, so now I need to do the back piece. The ear sits pretty like straight on his head, on his face, facing that way, and then on the back there's that curve to it. So the way that I did that was, the way that I did that on Paco's was that I took a piece like this, I kept the height the same, and then I just grew the sides by a random amount, and then I was like, that looks good, and I just sewed it together. Okay, so I just pinned it, and then I wanted to show you that that's how you get the volume in the back. So if the front is straight, this is terrible. If the front is straight and flat, then the back, having a wider stance, has more volume to imitate that aspect of the ear. Now, I did forget though that once you grow that in the back, you see that the bottom doesn't really align. I think I'm just gonna do this in the colors. So the front is going to be that icy blue, the back is gonna be the black, and then I'm just gonna have to make it work. This is what it looks like when I sewed the two pieces together, front and back, right sides together. So let's turn it inside out and see how it looks. Good enough, yeah? I don't know what they say, perfection is the enemy of good enough, or is that the phrase? It's late. We are halfway past the midnight mark, but I am determined to finish. So here is what the ear is looking like. I know it's lopsided, but it's okay. I think when it's on Charlie, it'll be flopping around anyway. And I like the left side of this ear. I don't really like the right side. I think I just missed putting the stitch in the right place over here. But I wanted to show this to you because it looks like I'm done, but I'm not. I really did not like this ear. I think when I was looking at it, I was looking at it like this, and then I put the ear on like that, and the ear is facing the side when Charlie would look straight. I then amended my approach to look at the hood like this, so that's a note for you. Look at the hood like this, straight on, and then that way you'll have the ear straighter on. It is very hard to do this without like putting this on a styrofoam or something. So if you have a bust or something, that would be better to put it on. So I need to take this one out and put it more facing forward, because this is what it looks like now. I mean, that's super derpy. That's just not, that fits the name, but that's not what I was going for. So I'm gonna take this one out, and we are really in the home stretch after that, but slight hiccup. Hi, do you want to pet him? He's nice.
Yeah, he's very nice.
Charlie.
All right, shake, shake, shake.
What are you eating? What is it?
Great news. It was a hit. I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning finishing this. We had, I don't want to say casualties, but there were not even compromises. It was late. Oh, we did have a casualty, by the way. Right here, right here. I cut my finger using the pizza cutter because I'm an idiot, and it was 1:30 in the morning, and that happened. So luckily it was not a very deep cut, but it definitely scared me. And then I went back to using my scissors. So remember all that big talk I was saying about make sure that your pile goes in the right direction? Well, I'm one to talk because the ear is facing the wrong way and one of the eyebrows is facing the wrong way. But you know what? Nobody knows, nobody cares here. See that? This one, it goes up. And you can also tell, okay, so part of the reason versus going down, this was a desired effect. I don't even know if you can see it, instead of going up. So this is actually a really good example of why Minky is hard to work with. If you are a beginner sewist, even if we were not going to use the machine for any of this, I would recommend that you just use plain cotton fabric or like polyester fabric, just like plain fabric without this fur on it or without this texture on it, because this is a really good example because this is felt on top of the fabric, right? So the pile goes down and the felt sits on top of it. If anything, it's a little bit too low. Here, I could not get this part to line up. See that little bit of icy blue that's showing through? That's because every time that you have this fabric and you lay another piece on top of it and then you press it down, it wants to slide in the direction that the pile is going. As a heads up for folks who may not be as comfortable with newer fabrics or slippery fabrics, I would say just use the plain flat fabric. The other thing, I think I had last left you, I hadn't done these yet. I missed these in the back. It was too late. I just can't do it. It's fine. You get that it's the cat Derpy from K-Pop Demon Hunters. I had sewn these on. Next time, I swear to God, I'm just gonna freaking glue them. It was so hard to sew these because it's slippery, it's 3D. Getting them even was so hard, and then this one is falling off. This one was started to come off during what I went to today. And the whole reason I had to finish this in time, 9 a.m. today, which I didn't even go at 9 a.m. There was a dog costume party at the dog park, and so I wanted to make this and finish it in time, which I did. It's just, I stayed up until really late and then I slept in a little bit, and I think that caused me to miss the costume contest. So we'll never know if it would have been the best costume there, but everyone really liked it. The people who knew about K-Pop Demon Hunters definitely recognized it, and Charlie was very popular. If not for the costume, then the fact that he was jumping up and down the whole time. If you know Charlie, then you're not surprised. One thing that I didn't do that I'm going to do, you know how you could see these stitches right here? You can see where the stitches went. I don't like that you could see that, so I'm trying to take the pile and put it on top. Comb the pile on top of it like this. There is a stitch here, which you can see faintly, versus the stitch here. And I tried to just smooth it out so you can't see the stitches. I am in the search of K-Pop Demon Hunter dog costumes of other, like I want to get the whole gang together. You know, I'm actually really shocked that today's dog costume party at the park, there was no other K-Pop Demon Hunter themed dogs. I'm shocked. I thought we would be so many. I was ready to look for other, but if any dog is dressed as Rumi or Ginu, let me know, and maybe we could put together a collage or something of our dogs. Okay, I need to go edit these videos, wrap these up. Let me know how you like this video. Please like and subscribe for more content like this. Let me know what you want to see, and I will chat with you soon. Bye.